There's 3 of them right there. See that one on the left, how the branches are coming out horizontally, kind of old looking. Get closer now. Look at this one first. 2 of them. Kind of rough looking bark. See these dents here? You don't see this in all birdseye, but there's a definite indicator there. It's an indication of size. There's one there. You get a kind of a constriction at the base. It's more of a subtle type of thing. You talk about the vase shape. Sometimes you see it narrow. This one shows it a little bit. It's kind of almost narrower at the base than higher up. See these irregular patterns here? Little dents. Birdseye maple. They tend to grow in stressful situations. You can see we're kind of in a rugged area here. The bedrock is real close to the surface. This down here next to the creek hasn't been cut in a long time. Birdseye tends to grow in a stressful situation, like I said, suppressed, shallow soil, sometimes down on the ecotone between a wetland and the higher upland productive area. You'll see it just right on the edge of where sugar maple stops growing, and there's more red maple. Just because it's birdseye doesn't mean it's worth a lot of money. You know, this one's got signs of rot. Here's stories of $20 a board foot. That's for high quality, large diameter veneer. I see a lot of these marked because they look funny, and they end up in the pulpwood pile, where you could get and sell it to a crafter. You know, make something nice out of it. Well, we're going to continue on. Here's a few small craft items that are made out of birdseye maple, so you can get an idea of the grain if you don't know what it is. Sugar maple, you see the grain in there. Birdseye maple is used for fine furniture, anything that you want a distinctive grain like this, somewhat light colored, darkens over time. Of course, you can stain it. You can see the variation here. Here's a sort of a blank spot. Over here you got more eyes. This small spatula here is loaded with eyes here, fairly thick with eyes. A little bit of variation in there. Birdseye maple grows all over where sugar maple occurs, and it occurs in some other trees too, but mostly in sugar maple. But it's plentiful nowhere, but it is found in the UP here, Upper Peninsula, Michigan, probably more common than other areas of the country, but even here it's not real common. Here's another one. See the constriction at the base, the rough looking bark. Horizontal old looking branches coming out. That's because it was suppressed for many years. It's right next to a rock outcrop right there. Soil is probably shallow. You see these dents in here. Now, sapsucker feeding areas would be horizontal or in columns. Try to find some of that later, but this is bird's eye indications here through the bark. Just because it has it in the bark doesn't mean it goes all the way through to the wood. That's another thing. And sometimes it'll be in the wood, but you won't see it in the bark. Quality also depends on the pattern of it in the wood. Probably not a real high quality tree as far as wood, but bird's eye. That's sapsucker feeding right there. See how it's all in a row? Got those dents. Not bird's eye, yellow-bellied sapsucker. They poke holes into the cambium, the living cell layer. Sap leaks out, attracts insects, then they come back and eat the stew. This is a red maple here, not a sugar maple, but has some more sapsucker feeding holes here. Not exactly in a row, but you got little rows here. This is not bird's eye indicators, but they look real similar. If you look at the bird's eye, it doesn't go down into the cambium like these do. Even these old ones, you can tell they at one time penetrated the bark into the living cell layer. This is another bird's eye maple. It's got the horizontal branching, sort of old looking, coming straight out from the trunk. Not much of a vase shape on this one. See that pattern in the bark, the dents? See even inside here the fissures of the bark. Other areas there's not a lot. Some areas it's loaded. Like right down here, all in through here. Bird's eye. There's another one, another bird's eye maple. A little bit of a constricted base. Sort of looks like it, not real evident. But the bark is loaded with eyes. See that? See all those dents in there? This tree's kind of cool because around this side it's hollow. So you can see the pattern in the wood. Of course, this tree is worthless from a timber perspective. But if it was mine, I would cut it, make something out of it, fireplace mantle, who knows what. It's just, these trees are getting too rare to just make toilet paper out of them. Here's a northern hardwood stand that's been thinned about 4 years ago. Such a stand will not have birdseye maple unless it was left for some reason. Usually the birdseyes are removed because of their value or because they look funny. They need stress or suppression, shallow soil, some other factors like that. As more of these northern hardwood stands come under management, the less birdseye maple you'll find. That's the economic tip for today. One of the goals in forest management, at least economically, is to put the growth on the valuable trees so they reach maturity faster, and so your stand becomes more economic. This sugar maple here is a nice high quality tree, and you can see up at the top it's been released, so the crown receives adequate sunlight and will grow faster till the next time this stand is entered for a cutting. There's still some trees here that aren't real good quality. You have to maintain your stocking. If you open it up too much, the trees will develop branches too far down on the crown or on the bowl of the tree. Birdseye maple will disappear from a stand like this over time and will not develop.